Holloway's look at all these issues is contained in a book which has caused quite a stir, at least in the business school world, since it was published late last year by an associate professor of Harvard Business School. Rakesh Khurana calls his book From Higher Aims to Hired Hands. From Higher Aims to Hired Hands. And is a call to action to chase a powerful argument. He exhorts us in business schools to compare ourselves more closely to the traditional professions such as law and medicine. The core of his argument is that the manager is not just a technician, not just a technical expert. Lawyers, for example, as a profession, are not just concerned with the technical aspects of interpreting the law and arguing legal points on behalf of clients. Lawyers are also very concerned indeed to maintain the status and probity of the rule of law in society, and lawyers do much to ensure that lawyers behave responsibly as an occupation. Similarly, doctors are not just concerned about treating individual patients, but are concerned about the status of medicine in society and that doctors behave themselves. In the United Kingdom, the British Medical Association and all the Royal Colleges associated with medicine share these higher aims. And in return for this explicit commitment to being professional, the law and medicine are allowed quite a high level of self-regulation and are held in high regard, which of course gives them high status and higher earnings. Now similarly, Khurana argues that managers and business owners ought to espouse higher aims than just being hired hands, managing resources or seeking to make money for shareholders. Businesses have a profound impact on society and individuals, for both good and ill, and managers and business people ought to espouse higher aims for business than just making profits. I'm sure that if Khurana had delayed publishing his book for a year, he would have had a lot to say about how a lack of higher aims contributed to the present financial crisis. Calls for businesses to take on corporate social responsibility are part of his argument about what is missing. And I can't emphasize strongly enough the importance of this. Back in 1989, when the Berlin Wall came down, we saw the collapse of communism, and capitalism looked to have won the battle for supremacy. But in just the past few weeks, we have seen capitalism teeter and very nearly collapse. Clearly in future we're going to see a lot more regulation, but regulation is expensive and limited in its effectiveness. Self-regulation through institutions run by professional managers and business people who are much more than hired hands, people who have higher aims, will be key. And this means you as an elite in a capital city of what is on its way to becoming one of the 4 major economic regions of the world, you will have an important part to play in this. But there is another aspect of being a professional that Khurana gives a little less emphasis to, and that is your commitment to continued professional development after you graduate. When I graduated, unbelievably 40 years ago, the degree programme with the largest number of students at Oxford was history. History was a splendid training of the mind, but hardly any of those who'd taken a history degree did further professional study in history. History graduates went on to run industry or the city or the country and never gave much further thought to their history degrees. I hope this was less true of those who did medical training at Oxford, and certainly medics today spend a significant amount of their time each year updating their professional medical skills, as do lawyers. Medical science and practice now develop so fast this is vital, as does the legal practice and the legal profession. And this ought to be, and is increasingly true of management too. If each of you do not pay attention to the continued professional development of your management skills, you will quickly lose competitive edge. Another example of this aspect of professionalism comes from the world of sport. Delhi is to host the Commonwealth Games in 2010, and on the basis of what happened in the Commonwealth Games in 2006, I predict that the biggest medal winner in Delhi will be Loughborough University at Melbourne than any single country. What's the relevance of this? Well, sport has now become as professionalised as medicine and management, and we have lessons to learn from this. Sports scientists, of whom Loughborough has many, now know from scientific research what athletic techniques work best, what training regimes are most effective, what sports people should eat, and they're in touch with equipment manufacturers about the best way to design such things as bicycles and swimsuits. Now, university sports science departments are closely linked to practicing sports men and women. Medical schools are fully engaged with doctors in medical practice. Business schools and business people need to be just as close to each other. And this too is what it means to be a professional and to be a profession. So this is my graduation message to you. Aspire to make management truly a profession in your own lifetimes, both in your behaviour and conduct as professionals and in the way you continuously update your knowledge and professional capabilities. This will do much to ensure a world that your children and my grandchildren can look forward to inheriting. I envy you your opportunities. I wish you well in your pursuit of them. Good luck and best wishes. Thank you.
Pro-Chancellor, I certify that the candidates to be presented at this congregation have complied with all the conditions required by the University to qualify for their awards. Ms. B.Bhattacharyya, Dean of the Undergraduate Business School, requests leave to present candidates of IILM Undergraduate Business School.